You may be walking through a season where the future feels uncertain. You're doing your best to trust, but the unknown can be intimidating. You've tried to plan, prepare, and stay strong. But some doors didn't open, some paths didn't make sense, and some dreams still feel distant. Maybe you've been asking, what's next? What's coming for me? Where is this all going? Can I encourage you today? Just because you don't know what's next doesn't mean you're lost. You're not wandering, you're being led. You're not stuck, you're being positioned. God is not making it up as he goes. He's not figuring it out last minute. No, he's already written every chapter of your life. Before you faced the storm, he made a way through it. Before the delay, he planned delivery. Before the heartbreak, he prepared your healing. You may not see the full picture now, but that doesn't mean there isn't one. Your job isn't to know everything. Your job is to trust the one who knows everything. God knows what's next. And when you trust him with what's now, he'll take care of what's next. You may be looking at your life right now and only seeing fragments. You see one piece here, one event there, a closed door, a missed opportunity, a relationship that didn't work out, a promotion that slipped away, a dream that hasn't come to pass. You're trying to make sense of it all. You wonder how this piece connects with that one. You wonder how it all fits together. But the truth is, just because you can't see the full picture doesn't mean it doesn't exist. God sees the whole thing. He sees the end from the beginning. Before you were formed in your mother's womb, he already knew you. He already knew where you'd be born, what family you'd grow up in, the challenges you'd face, the people who would come and go, the battles you'd fight, the victories you'd win. He already knew what would hurt you and what would heal you. He saw every story before you ever took your first breath. That means nothing you're walking through is a surprise to him. You might be in a season where you're asking, why am I going through this? You don't understand why certain things happened, why it had to hurt, why it had to be this hard. But even when you don't understand, God does. And he's not just watching from a distance. He's actively involved in the details of your life. He's not improvising. He's not adjusting the plan because something went wrong. No, it was all accounted for. The setback, the detour, the delay, it didn't disqualify the destiny. It's part of the path. Sometimes we think things are falling apart when they're actually falling into place. It's only because we're looking at the puzzle with missing pieces. But God sees the completed picture. He sees how that disappointment is going to teach you something that success never could. He sees how that delay is going to save you from something that would have cost you your peace. He sees how that closed door is going to lead you to something far greater than you had in mind. When you walk by faith and not by sight, you're saying, God, I don't see the full plan, but I trust that you do. You may feel like you're stuck in the middle, like you're in between where you were and where you're going. And the middle can be messy. The middle is full of questions, full of waiting. But even in the middle, God is not confused. He's not looking for a new route. He's guiding you through what he already saw coming. Think about how an author writes a book. They don't make it up as they go. They have a plot, a plan, an ending in mind. Even when a character faces trouble, the author already knows how the character will overcome. That's what God is like. He's the author of your story. He already wrote the ending. He already knows how it turns out. And it's not going to end in defeat. It's not going to end in failure. It's going to end in victory. You may not understand why you had to go through certain seasons. You may still have unanswered prayers, situations that didn't resolve the way you hoped. But just because it didn't go your way doesn't mean it didn't go God's way. He knows what he's doing. He knows what you need. He knows what you can handle. And more importantly, he knows what's ahead. So when he says wait, it's not to frustrate you. It's to protect what he's preparing. When he says no, it's not to punish you. It's to lead you to something better. There will be moments when you look back on what you thought was a mistake and realize it was mercy. You'll see how that broken road led you to the right people. You'll understand how the storm made you stronger, how the silence grew your faith, how the detour became your divine setup. You'll be able to say, God, now I see what you saw all along. When you trust that God sees the end from the beginning, you stop living in fear of what's next. You stop trying to control the outcome. You stop losing sleep over the unknown. Because you know that even when you don't have the answer, you're walking with the one who does. And he's not just beside you. He's ahead of you, making the crooked places straight, opening doors no one can shut, and turning all things for your good. So keep moving forward. Keep showing up with faith. Keep doing what you can do, and leave what you can't in the hands of the one who sees it all. You may not know how it all ends, but you can rest in the truth that God does. And he never writes a story that ends in defeat. He's not just the author, he's the finisher. And the good work he started in you, he will surely bring to completion. Sometimes we misread the silence. We think because we're not seeing movement, because the answer hasn't come, or the door hasn't opened, that God must have forgotten us. That maybe we missed it. Maybe we prayed wrong. Maybe it's just not going to happen. But can I remind you today, delay is not denial. Just because it hasn't happened yet, doesn't mean it's not on the way. There are things God is doing behind the scenes that you can't see. Pieces are moving. People are being shifted. Timing is aligning. And it's all part of a bigger plan. When something is delayed, it's easy to assume the worst. We think God changed his mind, or maybe we're not worthy. But God doesn't tease his children. He doesn't give you a glimpse of a dream just to take it away. If he placed it in your heart, if he showed it to you, if he confirmed it through his word, then trust that he knows when and how it needs to happen. Your waiting is not wasted. Your patience is not in vain. You're not being overlooked. You're being developed. There are certain things you're believing for right now that are too heavy for you to carry today. And God, in his mercy, is holding it back, not to punish you. He knows what's required at the next level. He knows the weight that comes with promotion. He knows the strength you'll need for where he's taking you. And if he gave it to you too soon, it could overwhelm you instead of bless you. So instead, he's building your endurance, your character, your faith. He's teaching you to trust him in the silence, to obey him in the uncertainty, to praise him even when it doesn't make sense. Think of the farmer who plants the seed. He doesn't panic when he doesn't see anything above the ground right away. He doesn't dig it up and say, "Oh, maybe I planted it wrong." No, he understands that there's a process. There's a season for sowing and a season for harvesting. What he does see is not as important as what's happening underneath. And in your life, something is happening underneath. That seed of faith you planted, that prayer you lifted, step of obedience you took, none of it is forgotten. It's maturing. It's growing roots. It's becoming something stable and strong. The longer the delay, the greater the impact. What takes time to develop is often what lasts the longest. Don't be discouraged by the wait. Be encouraged by what's coming. If it was small, it would have come quickly. Because it's big, because it's important, because it's going to shift things in your life. God is taking his time with it. And when he brings it, it won't be fragile. It won't be something you have to strive to maintain. It'll come wrapped in peace, dripping with favor, overflowing with joy. You may not see the evidence yet, but God is working. He's orchestrating details that you couldn't plan if you tried. He's softening hearts, aligning resources, removing obstacles. He's setting the stage so that when your moment comes, everything, you won't have to force it. You won't have to manipulate it. It'll flow naturally to you because it was prepared supernaturally. And all that waiting will make sense. There will come a day when you look back and say, I'm so glad God didn't let it happen when I wanted it. I'm so thankful for the delay. Because you'll realize that the version of you back then couldn't carry what God is trusting you with now. You'll see how the delay saved you from settling. You'll understand how it refined you, matured you, and equipped you. That person you became during the waiting season, that's the one who's ready to step into the blessing. And so don't rush the process. Don't despise the delay. This isn't a detour to its development. And development is necessary for destiny. Keep walking in faith. Keep doing what you know to do. Keep showing up with expectancy. Because the God who began the good work in you hasn't stopped working. He's still building, still orchestrating. And when the time is right, nothing can stop it. There's a perfect timing to your purpose. And when it comes, it won't just be an answered prayer. It will be a testimony that silence doesn't mean absent. That waiting doesn't mean rejection, and that delay was never denial. It was always preparation. We've all had moments where something we hoped for didn't work out. A job we were excited about didn't call us back. A relationship we prayed over came to an unexpected end. An opportunity that looked perfect suddenly slipped away. In those moments, it's easy to feel disappointed and confused. You might even think, God, I thought this was it. I thought this was the breakthrough. But here's the truth. Not every closed door is a failure. Sometimes it's the greatest gift God could have given you. When God closes a door, He's not trying to harm you. He's trying to help you. He's not trying to hold you back. He's guiding you forward. That closed door was never rejection. It was divine protection. You may have wanted it with all your heart, but God saw something you couldn't see. He saw how that connection would have drained your peace. He saw how that position would have robbed your joy. He saw how that open door might have led you down a path that would have poked you away from your calling. We don't always see what's on the other side. We see a polished opportunity, a smooth-talking person, a seemingly perfect setup. But God sees beyond the surface. He sees the motives of people. He sees the future of situation. He sees where that path leads in 5 months, 5 years, even a lifetime from now. And when He closes a door, it's because He's shielding you from something your eyes can't detect. What you think is a missed opportunity might actually be a miracle in disguise. There are times when you'll be tempted to force a door open. You'll want to knock harder, do whatever it takes to make something happen. But if God closed it, no amount of effort will make it right. And even if you do manage to force it open, it won't feel like a blessing. It'll come with stress, with confusion, with compromise. Because when something is from God, you won't have to break yourself trying to make it fit. It'll open in peace. It'll align naturally. It'll come with confirmation and favor. There are doors in your life that may have looked good, sounded good, felt good, but they weren't God. And thank goodness for that. Because the closed doors are just as important as the open ones. Sometimes even more. They redirect your steps. They keep you from going down dead-end roads. They teach you to trust, to surrender, to release control. And ultimately, they lead you to what's meant for you. You might be in a season where you're grieving over a door that shut unexpectedly. Maybe a dream that slipped through your hands, a friendship that faded, a plan that fell apart. But let me encourage you. Just because one door closed doesn't mean the journey is over. In fact, it may have been the only way to get you to where you're really supposed to be. That door closed not to end your story, but to reroute your steps to a better chapter. Sometimes, you don't even realize it was protection until much later. You look back and think, that door hadn't shut, I wouldn't have found this better path. You realize how that painful no was a necessary redirect. You see how God saved you from what you thought you wanted so He could give you what you truly needed. And suddenly the closed door makes perfect sense. It becomes a moment of gratitude instead of regret. If you're facing a shut door right now, take a deep breath. Don't panic. Don't reopen what He has already sealed. Trust that if He allowed it to close, He's already prepared something greater. Maybe not immediately, maybe not in the exact way you envisioned, but His plan is always better. His path is always higher, and His no is always for your good. Instead of looking at what didn't happen, start thanking God for what He's protecting you from. Instead of trying to pry the door back open, start looking for the new one He's about to reveal. Because with every closed door, there comes a new opening, a fresh direction, a higher opportunity. You didn't miss your destiny. You're being moved into it. So let that door stay closed. Bless it. Release it. Move forward in faith, knowing that God knows what's next. He's not finished with you. That closed door didn't cancel your calling. It just corrected your course. And where He's taken you will be worth every no, every delay, every detour. Because when God opens the next door, it won't be something you have to force. It'll be something you can walk through in peace, with joy knowing He brought you to it, and He'll carry you through it. There are seasons in life when everything feels like it's falling apart. You face heartbreak you didn't expect. You go through loss that hits you deeper than words can explain. Doors close. People leave. Life takes a turn you never prayed for, never planned for, never prepared for. And in those painful moments, it's easy to question God. It's easy to wonder how this pain could possibly fit into the promises He gave you. But even in the middle of the storm, there's something you need to know. Nothing is wasted with God. He's not the cause of every pain, but He can take every pain and use it for purpose. You may not understand what you're walking through right now. You may not have the words to describe it. You may be too tired to cry about it anymore. But God sees you, and He's not just watching, He's working. He's not distant. He's deeply present in the middle of your heartbreak. That situation that broke you, He's going to build something beautiful from it. That betrayal that left you shattered, He's going to use it to strengthen your character. That delay, that diagnosis, that disappointment, it didn't surprise Him. He already planned how to bring something powerful from it. Sometimes the pain isn't because God is punishing you. It's because He's positioning you. He's stripping away what you thought you needed so He can give you what you really need. He's cutting things off not to hurt you, but to heal you. What you thought was breaking you is actually making you. The fire isn't to destroy, it's to refine. Storm isn't to drown, it's to direct. The hurt isn't to end you, it's to elevate you. You may feel like your life is a mess right now, like you're in a place that makes no sense. But don't confuse pain with purposelessness. God is a master artist. And sometimes He allows our canvas to be dark before He paints His masterpiece. He doesn't just use the pretty parts of your story. He uses the tears, the trauma, the tragedies. Because the very thing the enemy meant to break you, God will use to bless you. The very place you bled is the place you'll be a blessing. And the pain you endured will become the platform you speak from. Some of the most powerful people didn't rise from comfort. They rose from crisis. They didn't come from easy streets. They came from broken roads. And that same God who lifted them is lifting you. You're not disqualified by your pain. You're being shaped through it. He's molding your heart, stretching your faith, deepening your trust. He's preparing you for something you can't see yet. And one day, what crushed you will be the very thing that crowns you. You may not see the purpose now, but you will. The fog will clear. The tears will dry. The questions will be answered. And you'll look back at what tried to destroy you and say, that was the turning point. What looked like defeat was actually divine alignment. What felt like abandonment was actually preparation. What seemed like loss was really gain in disguise. You'll realize that every painful chapter was leading you to your calling. When God allows pain, He also releases grace to endure. Grace to grow. Grace to get up every morning, even when your heart is heavy. And that grace is proof that you're not alone. He's walking with you through the valley. He's standing with you in the fire. He's wiping every tear and whispering, I'm still working. I'm still faithful. I still know what's next. Don't let your pain define you. You're not a victim of your situation. You're a vessel being prepared for greatness. Every scar has a story. Every wound has wisdom. Every battle has built you. And even if you don't feel strong right now, you're stronger than you think. You've made it this far for a reason. That reason is purpose. So don't give up in the pain. Don't walk away from God in the pressure. What feels like a breakdown is often the birthplace of breakthrough. It's not over. In fact, the pain is often the sign that you're on the edge of something powerful. The enemy doesn't fight what isn't a threat. And if you've been through deep pain, that means God has deep purpose in store. One day, someone is going to look at your life and be encouraged by what you survived. They'll see your strength and not know your story. They'll admire your peace and not realize what it cost you. But you'll know that it was God who carried you. It was God who healed you. It was God who took the ashes and made something beautiful. And you'll stand as proof that pain may visit, but it doesn't have the final word. Purpose does. There's a special kind of power that's released when you trust God in the unknown. When you step out not because everything makes sense, but because you know deep down that the one guiding you can't fail. Faith doesn't mean having all the answers. Faith means choosing to move forward when you don't. It means walking in obedience even when the outcome hasn't been revealed. And it's in those uncertain moments that heaven leans in. That's when God says, and now I can show you what only I can do. It's easy to trust when you've got the roadmap, when you can see the path clearly, when every step makes sense. But real faith is when you obey before you understand, when you worship before the walls fall, when you praise before the breakthrough comes. That's the kind of faith that opens doors. That's the kind of faith that brings supernatural favor. You may not see it, but when you choose to believe in the middle of confusion, you're attracting heaven's attention. When you choose to stay faithful while others would give up, you're unlocking blessings that can't be earned any other way. God rewards those who trust Him, not just when things are going well, but especially when things are uncertain. The uncertainty is where faith shines the brightest. You may feel like you're in a season of questions. Questions about your purpose, your direction, your next step. And maybe the silence is loud. Maybe the delay is uncomfortable. Maybe the unknowing is weighing on your heart. But what you don't realize is that in your faithfulness, in your quiet obedience, you're building momentum in the Spirit. You're putting a demand on the promise. And God never overlooks a heart that believes when there's no evidence. In Scripture, some of the greatest miracles were preceded by moments of deep uncertainty. Think about Abraham. He left everything familiar, not knowing where he was going, simply because God said to go. Think about Peter. He stepped out of the boat and walked on water. Not because the sea was calm, but because he believed the one calling him was greater than the storm. They weren't fearless, they were faithful. And that faith activated something powerful. You don't have to have perfect confidence. You just have to have surrendered trust. You don't need a blueprint. You just need to hold the hand of the one who already sees the future. Because when you trust God in the unknown, you're saying, God, I believe you know what's next, even when I don't. And that simple declaration invites the extraordinary into your life. There are blessings on the other side of your obedience that you haven't imagined. Opportunities you haven't seen. Relationships you haven't met. Miracles you have dreamed. But they're connected to your willingness to believe before you receive. To walk even when you don't see the full road. To take the step and let God do the rest. And here's what happens when you walk by faith. God begins to accelerate things. You may have been waiting for years, but in a moment, He can shift everything. He can bring the right person, the right call, the right idea, the right connection. Not because you had it all figured out, but because you trusted Him when you didn't. That kind of faith moves mountains. That kind of faith makes the impossible possible. You might be thinking, but what if I make the wrong choice? What if I step in the wrong direction? Listen, God is not just the God of the outcome. He's the God of the journey. And even if you make a wrong turn, He knows how to reroute you. He knows how to redeem your mistakes. He's not looking for perfection. He's looking for your yes, your willingness, your heart that says, God, I don't know what's next, but I'm willing to follow you anyway. Faith in uncertainty may not always change the situation immediately, but it always changes you. It grows your character. It strengthens your spiritual muscles. It builds a resilience that nothing else can. In time, it opens doors that logic never could. Because you weren't relying on your own understanding, you were leaning on His. The more you practice trusting God when things are unclear, the more peace you'll find in any season. You'll stop needing to control everything. You'll stop being paralyzed by fear. You'll stop letting anxiety lead the way. Why? Because you'll know deep down that God's got it. He's already ahead of me. And if He brought me this far, He won't leave me now. So today, even if you don't have all the answers, keep moving forward, keep showing up. Keep praising through the uncertainty. Keep praying even when it feels quiet. Keep walking even when the road is dim. Because your faith in the unknown is not a waste. It's the key to the next level. And when you trust God in the unseen, you'll start to see doors open that only He could open. There's something powerful that happens when you stop striving and when you realize that peace isn't found in knowing all the details. Peace is found in knowing the one who does. You weren't created to carry the weight of the unknown. You weren't built to live with constant pressure about what's ahead. That's not your job. Your job is to walk in trust, to rest in the plan of a God who has never failed, never made a mistake, and never forgotten one of His promises. When you learn to rest in His plan, you're not just letting go of fear. You're picking up confidence, not in your circumstances, but in the fact that you are being led by someone who sees it all, knows it all, and holds it all together. There's a supernatural calm that comes when you stop asking, what if? And start declaring, even if, I know God's got me. That's the kind of peace the world can't give and the world can't take away. Peace doesn't mean you'll always feel comfortable. It doesn't mean you'll have every step mapped out, but it does mean you can walk through the valley and not be shaken. You can sit in the middle of uncertainty and still smile. You can be surrounded by chaos and still feel calm because your peace isn't anchored to the situation, it's anchored to your Savior. We live in a world that constantly says, figure it out, make a plan, Hustle harder. Fix it yourself. But that mindset will wear you down. It will leave you anxious, exhausted, and burned out. God never asked you to carry the pressure of figuring everything out. He never said, "Oh, be perfect." He said, "Be still and know." He said, "Come to me and I'll give you rest." That's where real strength comes from. Not from doing more, but from trusting more. You might be in a place right now where things don't make sense. You've been faithful, you've prayed, you've done everything you know to do, and still nothing seems to be moving. That's when you need to remind yourself, delay is not disaster, and silence is not absence. God may be quiet, but He is not distant. He's working behind the scenes. He's positioning things. He's aligning the right people, the right resources, the right timing. And until that unfolds, your greatest weapon is peace. Rest doesn't mean doing nothing. It means releasing control. It means saying, "God, I've done my part. Now, trust you to do yours." That's not giving up. That's spiritual maturity. That's the kind of trust that heaven responds to. When you rest, you're telling God, "I believe you're big enough to handle this. I believe you love me enough to take care of it. And I don't need to see it to believe it." There's peace in surrender. Not the surrender of defeat, but the surrender of faith. When you truly rest in His plan, you stop comparing your journey to everyone else's. You stop rushing the process. You stop doubting yourself. You realize that your timeline isn't broken. It's custom made. Your story isn't late. It's being written by the perfect author, right on schedule. You don't need to stress about what's next when you know the one who already prepared it. He's not figuring it out as He goes. He's already seen the outcome. And when the time is right, you'll see it too. But until then, He's asking you to live in peace, not panic. To walk in joy, not fear. To rest, not wrestle. You may not feel like you're moving forward, but sometimes the most progress is made in stillness. Quiet, unseen moments that God is doing the deepest work. He's strengthening your faith. He's refining your heart. He's giving you peace that doesn't depend on circumstances. And when you come out on the other side, you'll look back and say, "It was in the stillness that I became strong." So today, take the pressure off. You don't have to fix everything. You don't have to know everything. You just have to trust the one who does. Rest in His plan. Rest in His timing. Rest in His character. Because He's good, He's faithful, and He knows what's next. And even when life feels uncertain, your spirit doesn't have to be. You can stand tall. You can walk in confidence. You can sleep peacefully at night. Not because you have it all figured out, but because you know the one who does. And He has never failed. He's not about to start now. So wherever you find yourself today, whether you're standing at the edge of something new, sitting in the middle of uncertainty, or trying to make sense of a painful season, remember this: you are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. The God who created you, the one who formed you with intention and purpose, knows exactly what's next in your life. He sees the end from the beginning. He's not scrambling to fix what's broken. He's not guessing how your story will unfold. He's already written every chapter. And not one part is wasted. Not the waiting, not the heartbreak, not the silence. Every moment has meaning. Every step has purpose. Every delay has divine design. When a door closes, it's not rejection, it's redirection. When the answer is a not yet, it's not punishment, it's preparation. And when the pain feels too great, God isn't far away. He's closer than ever, turning it into purpose. What the enemy meant for harm, God is going to use for good. He's working all things, not just the easy things, but all things together for your good. Your job is not to have all the answers. Your job is to trust, to walk by faith, to keep praising when the road gets hard, to keep moving forward even when the path isn't clear. You may not know what's next, but you know the one who does, and he is faithful. He is always on time, so rest in that. Let peace replace panic. Let peace replace panic. Let faith rise above fear, even when life is shaky. Because your future isn't in the hands of people, systems, or circumstances. It's in the hands of a God who never failed. Don't be afraid of what's ahead. Don't be discouraged by what didn't work out. Lift your eyes. Raise your expectation. God is not finished with you. In fact, He's just getting started. What's ahead is greater than what's behind. What's coming is better than what's gone. And what God has planned for you, no one can stop it. So keep your heart full of faith. Keep your spirit anchored in truth. Keep walking, keep trusting, keep believing. Because even when you don't know what's next, you can live with confidence, knowing that God does.